I'd like to set a scene. Imagine you're sitting on a park bench next to the highway. You see a semi go by, but it's not the normal rumbling that you're used to and the black smoke coming from the exhaust. You stop and you wonder to yourself, I wonder why. This is quite peculiar for it to not be doing that. And then you realize electric vehicles, cars, trucks, and various other vehicles have become more electric over the past few years, and semis are no different. And you consider, well, what's next then? Tractors? And you'd be absolutely right. You see, the idea is to reduce the effects of global warming and reduce cost. While going out and purchasing an electric vehicle may be much more expensive for the initial purchase, it will eventually reimburse itself by less fill-ups, and it's incredibly cheap to charge your electric car. Although there are some drawbacks to this system. As seen in electric semis, there's simply not enough power within that battery to be able to make long trips across the United States or to be able to haul extremely heavy loads. The range will be severely lost, as simply this power is not here to make those long trips, and as we see in Tesla's cars, Chevy's trucks, and Ford's trucks, the electric batteries simply do not have enough there in order to be able to making long trips. Usually with a diesel you can go 400, even 500 miles on a full tank of diesel, but with an electric vehicle on a full charge you can only go roughly 100 to 200 miles. Now, there are zero emissions from electric vehicles, but there are detrimental effects to the environment by the production of lithium and the harnessing of that energy. There are horrible runoffs from factories where the lithium is produced, killing all vegetation and polluting all groundwater. We can see this as a prime example in Africa. The soil has turned red in many areas, stained by lithium, and you can never get that out, not without a full tear-up of the Earth's crust in order to get all that out. It's just simply quite detrimental to the environment in multiple ways. But it does possess some new career opportunities. While it does have that drawback to that career opportunity, as biomass production is generally in conflict with the new systems. More than 60% of farm equipment is run off of diesel, and 60% is quite considerable since there are only 5 million farm equipment units in the United States, 5 million tractors, and 60% of those run off of diesel. Take into consideration that, but even more astounding, 96% of the semis in the United States run off of diesel. 96% of the United States massive traffic, the import and export is run simply by semi-trucks. Without semi-trucks, you can't take things from one town to another. One may say, just use the railroad, but the railroad only runs in relatively straight paths. You can't run different places with the railroad like you can on a road. Now, the semis is a major way for raw materials and food, and I just see this as quite simply unnecessary, as agriculture only accounts for 2% of the United States carbon emissions. And that's just simply not enough to put an incentive to do everything agricultural in a new renewable source, as 2% is quite minuscule compared to the rest of the United States. And as the need for zero emissions grows, we see many companies stepping up into the spotlight to take opportunities from this, such as Soltrack, John Deere, and many others, making new electric tractors that have quite a considerable amount of power, but still are extremely expensive. And we can see in the 18-wheeler industry, Volvo, Tesla, and many others are stepping forward to do this challenge, to accept the challenge, and to make production of a strong 18-wheeler. But sadly, they have only just finished up the demo stage and the testing, and semi-trucks that are made by these companies are only able to do the short journeys and the light loads. I hope that we can improve on that. And one thing I'd like to close with is every 10 units of fossil fuel, there's only 1 unit of food put on the table. Consider that as 10 gallons of diesel used to only make 1 pound. And the average American consumes more than 1 pound of food on a daily basis, as we know. But that's just simply quite put a horrible ratio that we need to change. We need to either get that units of food up, or we need to bring the units of fossil fuels down. And with the implementation of electronic technology and the use of electric vehicles, we can change that 10 to a lower and lower number, and even change that units of food, flip it completely upside down. 1 unit of fossil fuel to 10 units of food is a hopeful ratio. Thank you.